This is the Starlight Express Alumni Podcast.
Hi, I'm Dennis Legree. I was at Starlight Express from 1993 to 1998. Came in as a Poppa alternate, but I started after the normal skate school period. The show had opened, I believe, with the new cast, and the Poppa alternate at that time was unable to finish his probation because of health reasons. And they brought me in to audition, and I got the job. And so I started like the 1st of September, and I was alone in skate school where I worked basically with a skate coach, uh, assistant, Freddie, at that time. And it was quite interesting because I was where I came from in Miami, Florida. We used to get roller skates every Christmas, these little metal things. And I've been skating since I was about 5 years old, and I always wanted to have the chance to learn how to really skate. And Starlight Express gave me that opportunity. So as I was training by myself, that was pretty hard because that's all I did, and there was nobody else to skate around while I had a rest. So I skated pretty much a lot and in the posture that they teach you. So that was, without a doubt, the hardest physical thing I've ever done. And on one occasion, Michael Fraley, the skate coach, was there, and he and Freddie were with me in the theater, and I was skating around the paddock, and they just told me to start skating, and then they walked off and left me in the theater skating, and I did skate, and then I skated some more, and then I continued to skate and skated, and then I skated some more, and finally they came back in. And I think they had taken a bet to see if I would just stop on my own or wait until. So, and apparently, I believe Michael Fraley's written something in his book about that particular incident. And that's why it kind of sticks in my mind. But yeah, Starlight was, after I think about a year, my first contract was 9 months. I worked the next year as a Poppa alternate with Lothair Eaton as first cast Poppa. Then I took over after he left, and let me see, that's 33, 94. I think that was in 95. Yeah, and yeah, that was a real experience. So
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the,
We worked together, so that was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Renee loves you. We also, had a lot of fun on that stage. You're kind of performer that you gotta have fun, and that's what I always really appreciated you for, because you just wanted to have fun. You just so much fun, and just trying different things, doing different things, and stretching, and really getting into a character, and that Poppa. Now your audition, what was that like? It sounded like it was a very fast audition process.
Well, my audition was a bit different because it was kind of how would they say, coincidence. In German, Zufall. It's something that just it happened. I was talking to a friend in New York that we had been on tour in Europe together, doing a musical Hair, and I was asking, "Oh, when are you coming back?" And he said, "Oh, actually, I'm trying to get back to Germany. I went to audition for Starlight Express. They're looking for a Poppa alternate. They liked me, but they said I was too young." And my response was, "I'm old. Give me the number." I needed to get a job in the theater, I thought, at that time. And so I called New York. New York called Hamburg. Hamburg called me. They set up the audition, and they brought me in. Normally, the guys who play Poppa are a bit more husky built. Um, yeah, they're usually bigger guys, thicker. And I'm very tall and thin. So when I came to the audition for Poppa, for the alternate, I think they actually were thinking about making me uh, uh, also for Electra. because of body type.
Yes.
But I can't do the shoot the duck position where you sit on like your foot on one side and stretch your leg out. I can't do that. So that took me right out of Electra, because at that time it was an important part of the choreography. So yeah, and but they decided to use me in spite of my thinness, and so they put me in a fat suit, and which I thought at first was a joke when they told me they were going to do it, because the costume is already heavy and really very thick. So yeah, but they did. And then there was the other thing. Normally the skating period is the training period is 3 months, and I had been training for about 2 months. And the at that time in-house director Glenn, resident director, came to me and asked me if I could perhaps do the show the next following day while I was rehearsing. I had had some work on my text. I had skated. I had learned all of my staging, but I never skated in my costume. So I opted out to start like the next day, but then they got a costume for me. My costume wasn't even ready because they hadn't had time to finish it. So they found a costume I could wear, and then I did costume skating. And the next day they put me on stage. So I had about 2 months and 3 days of training before I'm on the stage. Oh, I forgot, they threw me in a run through that they were doing. So they said, we have a run through going, yeah. And then they threw me into this run through, and I never skated with other people. The best part was we did light, and they had shown me go to this side, go to that side. And so, but somewhere it was a little bit confusing because I never rehearsed light with the company. And so there's a point where the whole cast is on stage going into a pinwheel. And because I wasn't sure which side I was supposed to go to, I started skating directly into the pinwheel just as they started lifting their head up, going, "Let's start." So it was like this. Yeah, that was fun. But I never, yeah. And then I think I killed Dustin in the race as we were finishing, because I never skated over the bowl before my first. Yeah, I did it once before I did the show, and and something happened. I think I killed Dustin because either coming down, I came down squatted too low or something, and pulled him out of his balance, and I just saw his helmet roll across the stage. So, yeah, but yeah.
So that was your first time on stage, your first experience, and first time being with a whole with people on stage. And prior to that, you were this lone Starlight guy.
Yeah, I had been totally alone, and then all of a sudden there was 23 other people on stage. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So what is for you? What's the greatest memory being on stage? I know that a lot of things happen on stage. Moments like you just mentioned one with that Dustin helmet rolling. Oops, is that supposed to happen?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so some of your share some of your really greatest moments for you.
Oh, I have to say, actually, it was before I even went on stage. One moment was because I realized that it was actually while I was on the hair tour. The show is a very physical show, the show that we did at the production, and it's 3 hours long. And of the 3 hours that the show went on, I had 10 minutes that I wasn't on stage, and it was for a costume change. So I decided sitting on the back of the bus one day, that what my dream show would be like. And that was to come out with the first act opener, leave, come back just before the end of the first act, play a scene, come on, sing a song, then play a scene, and then leave, come on for the second act opener, leave, come back on, sing a song at the climax of the show, leave, come back, and do the finale. And when I watched the show the first time is when I realized that that was exactly what I would be doing in Starlight Express. And then the Starlight sequence, the first time I saw it, I literally just burst into tears. It was really moving. So it was always wonderful because the song is, the show is just a testament of encouragement that you can do it. Like the underdog, you can do it. You just keep on trying, no matter what happens, keep trying. You have the strength within you. So playing a role that has a message like that to deliver, it was really just, yeah, it was a dream. And it was fun being on roller skates because, like I said, as the kid from the age of 5, we skated every Christmas. That was like tradition. That was the skate season until those metal wheels started breaking off and you couldn't use those things anymore. So next year you get some more.
I remember them days.
Yeah. So just being able to skating that set was amazing. It's incredible. I also did the U.S. national tour back in 2003 and 2004. And they, instead of having the extended set, they decided to do a 3D movie for the races, which was really fun. And the audience liked it and such. But there was no real skating in that show because, they had like a 3-level scaffolding, which was mostly running up and down stairs. And then all I did was to skate onto the stage. So it wasn't as much fun to skate that set, but the Starlight set in Bochum, yeah, who needs a skate park?
Right.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that moment when you first saw the Starlight sequence and you said it brought tears to your eyes. What about it got you emotional? What were you thinking when you saw it and watched it, you heard it, and what about it got you so connected with it emotionally?
I think it was a combination of everything. First of all, it's the moment when this power appears, and in that production, just the scene itself was awe-inspiring. The way this laser just went across the entire, from one side of the theater to the other, and then the whole stage in the theater is just illuminated and filled with smoke. And this moment is really powerfully, German words are coming, it's underscored with the music is great. The song. Then realizing that I would be singing this song and taking a part in that real part of the moment. And then thinking about, at that particular moment is when I realized that what I'd wished for is what I was going to be doing. The whole thing all together. And then thinking about, this is really something, this is this power that's within us that comes, and the whole thing was just, I believe overwhelming is the proper word for it. And I was overwhelmed with emotions and a feeling, I can. This was because the first time I saw it was before I actually went into the show, before I actually went through the training period. But I knew that I needed something to happen, and this is what happened. I also forgot to tell you, that when I decided I had already decided I needed to work in the theater, but I needed a job to start on the 1st of September. And obviously, and that was one of the other things that happened when they called me. They said, we need you on the 1st of September to start. And there was, just a lot of things. So I'm a very spiritual person, not so esoteric, I would think, but I do have some beliefs that perhaps people would consider esoteric. And the whole thing just seemed to have lined up, and it was affirmation and confirmation, and just it was a really wonderful experience.
Wow. Yeah, I know from my traveling around, like, I've toured all over the U.S., the world, been to Japan, been around Canada, a lot of places with the different shows that I've done, and when I did Starlight, I did a total of 7 contracts with Starlight Express, and you've done Starlight also a lot of times. And my experience as a performing artist, and I'm very physical because my my gift that I have was my athleticism as a dancer, and that's what I brought to my the work that I've done and I've shared in shows. And Starlight Express was the most, and you mentioned it earlier, was the most demanding show, not just physiologically, but it was also demanding, intellectually, emotionally, and even spiritually. And there's so many realms. And when I reflect back on, I remember my journey and my upsets, we go the ups and downs of, because of the challenge of the show. What was your experience with respect to that? The physical, the emotional, the psychological challenges of the show itself, or was it a challenge to you?
Well, no, it was, first of all, physically, it was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. And because physically challenging because the training period is like a boot camp where you're constantly in motion and you're moving your body in ways that you haven't done before. You're training new muscles because of the posture that you have to skate in, training, that everything has to be precise. I found it, well, for me, the strangest thing, had I didn't ever have any problems with my own technique. Michael, I followed exactly as I was trained, and it was something that somehow or other it always helped, even in moments, like the staggering your feet, because that keeps your balance when something happens. If something unusual happens, you got a better chance if you've got those feet apart and everything, every part of it. So just physically challenging, mentally, because you had to make certain that whatever you did, that at certain points you had to be in specific places, or something could happen that could be dangerous
Yeah.
for you or somebody else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only injuries I ever had were, accidents. Well, twice. I think once, the coming down the what's this thing here? The seesaw didn't
The
close
seesaw?
properly, so it came down and there was a space like big enough for the wheel just to get caught for a minute, and we almost went down. But staggering feet, so we go, but we didn't. But we didn't go down. We did not go down. Yeah, and then, but the time that I did go down, someone was in the wrong place and clipped me, and caused me to flip around and fall completely on my back, which
Whoa.
the actual damages from that injuries I didn't experience for almost 2 months
Mm.
before anything happened. And then it came. So, yeah, and then, yeah, just working through all that. But I was it was such a thrill for me to be there at the time. It was just a good atmosphere in the theater. I think we had a kind of a family atmosphere back in those days,
Mm.
where, even we do things every now and then together. We had gatherings, the social gatherings that the theater itself put on, the times then when people kind of just decide, oh, we're going to do this or that. And didn't live in Bochum at the time, so I didn't get to go to everything, but it was nice having that camaraderie there. So it was yeah, and I think I met friends that I met there, and even just, yeah, the
Yeah,
life.
because yeah, it was a lot of the alumni, most of it, and I myself included. I put myself in. There were a lot of lessons that I I credit to Starlight Express, because there are things that I learned about me, about life, that to this day, when I teach and I speak, because I have a martial arts school that has over 300 students, been doing it for 20 years. And so now I have kids that I used to teach are now adults. I have one now who, one of my students that's been with me with us for 18 years, is now a parent, just had a child. And so there's a lot of lessons that I share with them
Yeah.
that I learned in my journey with Starlight, like the hard work and all that. So what are some that you may credit to Starlight experience that you share now, maybe with others?
Well, the one thing I learned, if I could do that, what I needed to learn to do that show, every show after that has been for me a little bit easier to learn because nobody's thrown quite that much at me since Starlight. So I guess that's one of the things. If I can do that, I can do this. So it's given me a sense of not just confidence, but assurance because I've done something
Wow.
that's extremely difficult. Um, yeah, well, the whole thing, like I said, it's a lot. It's also well, I'm almost a makeup artist as a result of having been in the show.
Hello, right?
Yeah,
Well,
people are amazed at makeup, and makeup is one of the things that I learned out. I'm not wearing any now, as you can see, but the yeah, that those kinds of stuff, and being able to do it quickly,
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
because we set like world records for making those whatever we had to do at the time. It's incredible. That's yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Also, I know that you're talking about you just getting better at performing because we have a saying in martial arts, and this is what I do with my students. I said, I want to get you so uncomfortable in your training that everything else in your life becomes almost so easy because you are comfortable with being so extremely uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah.
And
And that's a good thing because once you've experienced that, then it makes everything seemingly easier.
yeah, yeah. And that's the sentiment that I get from a lot of alumni that
Yeah.
every other show they do is now it's almost nothing compared to Starlight because they did Starlight at the extreme of it. Now I know
Yeah.
you're still performing, you're doing your shows. I saw some of the stuff that you've done. And it's beautiful. Your voice is amazing. You have this incredible. I saw something the other day that you were just having fun with your vocals and with the band and the audience. And so share with everyone the work that you're doing now and your passions now and how you're still, giving as a performer.
Um, Basically, in the last few years, I've tried to do a little bit of musical theater. I have my plan originally was to take short contracts, 4 or 5 month contracts or short runs, and do those things. But it somehow ended up since 2014, I think it was, that I pretty much up until just this March, I've been in a musical or been working quite a lot in musical theater. Um, I've done not that many shows because most of it was Dirty Dancing. And the other one, I did The Bodyguard in between. And in between those things, I've also done musical gala shows that one created for the stage. But I've mostly been trying to do concertizing, and that has been for the last about 2 or 3 years with doing James Bond theme songs with a symphonic orchestra. And it's sort of a presentation. It's the orchestrated music, and they're doing with film with for different film clips from James Bond films, and then they perform some of the theme songs, and they do it with a female singer, myself, and then I've also just yeah, my goal is to be able to work with orchestras and big bands doing swing music with the big bands and orchestras, some jazz standards, and also music that isn't traditionally done with orchestra. I've already done a couple of concerts with this a group of people. It's a show, actually. It's supposed to be a theater show, but it's just basically a concert. 5 soloists and a symphonic orchestra playing disco music. So I've done that about 2 or 3 different times, and all together, I'm trying to now. Basically, that's what I prefer. I like that the medium, but I also do. I've been doing Stopfest. What I posted was an encore number from an evening that I did with a band, and which I enjoy because it's sort of a way of just my own personal way of interpreting music that people have heard forever and a day, and I kind of have my own twist on things, and sometimes
it's so much fun. I saw that, and I had so much fun watching that, and I could see how the audience loved, because again, that's the performer, and you just like having fun. You also, some of you guys collaborate together. I'm noticing that you guys still do some collaboration.
Yeah, right now I'm working with a group of guys that all played Poppa in Bochum at Starlight Express. With it started out with David Thomas and Reggie. And I see when I'm starting, my brain's going bad. Reggie Jennings, and recently David Moore has decided to join up with us, and we were doing a kind of a group where we only perform in a group of 3. And it's also a kind of a concert show where there's in the past there's been different kinds of music. We've done musical theater numbers. We've done it as a sort of a R&B soul, and we've also done it with gospel. So and sometimes all of it's together, and we've done it in many different combinations of personnel. But it's a fun show to have such wonderful seasoned performers who are great singers, sharing the stage and everybody doing their own thing, and then working together as a unit, because we do group numbers that are normally done as solos, where we have our own harmonic arrangements and such. That's kind of fun. Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to find out more about you and the work that you're doing now, and maybe upcoming events, where can they go?
Oh, I have right now, just for the stuff for me, I have a Facebook page, Dennis A. Legree Singer, I think it is. But just on Facebook, people can see most of the things that are going on. I'm not the best with always posting, but luckily I have friends, and there are people who always kind of make sure that the stuff gets seen, because people tell me they've seen things that are upcoming that I didn't know someone had posted, but luckily they do.
Well, I'll speak to everyone that's listening now and watching now. This page here, because right now what you're watching right below, we'll definitely have a lot of all the updates for Dennis right below. No matter when you're watching this, right below, I'll have every update that's going on with Dennis. I'll stay in touch with all our alumni. And I thank you so much, Dennis, for just coming on here and sharing your experience. And I cannot tell you how valuable this is for others. We take our journey so much for granted, not just Starlight, life. And I know I'm going to be 60 years old, and a lot of this is truth. Performers, 18, 19, because Renee is working now with a lot of 12-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are now becoming the future of show business, and they are standing on the shoulders of those of them that came before them, those of us that came before them, and we're there. And so they are enjoying this. And I have to tell you, in all honesty that the fans are loving this, and the young performers and us alumni are loving this, what you're sharing. So we make light of it. So I want to thank you so much for that. And we're going to
I'd like to thank you for doing this. I think it's a wonderful idea. And thank you for inviting me to do the podcast. And just thank you for coming up with such a great idea, because it is something, as I've just turned 65, and it's a thing where you look back on your life, and it's good when you're pulling all these stories together and people sharing. It brings back good memories, and it also lets you see that, hey, there's something, I'm not alone out here with my journey. We're somebody that we've all gone on to do what we've done, what we're doing now, but we've all had the common denominator of being in that place and that time in that theater and in that experience, because it is an experience.
Yeah. It's because there's such value to knowledge, there's such value to information, but there's great value in a life lived, wisdom.
Yeah.
And so right now we're passing on that knowledge. And right now, as we speak right now, and my mind is talking about legacy. There's been a day, maybe right now, my great grandchildren are watching this because of the technology. They're looking at great grandpa Pete. Look at him out there. He's talking to all these people that may not be. Right now, I'm speaking to my great granddaughter right now, and telling you guys I'm doing this for you guys, passing on the knowledge, and this is what's making it so valuable. And I think we're all connecting with that. So I want to thank you so much for coming here, sharing. I always want to give you guys the last word. What's the last word you want to give to the alumni, to the fans, and to future generations right now? The last word. What do you want to say to them right now?
Well, there's the thing that say dreams can come true. You just have to stay persistent.
Thank you so much, Dennis.
Yeah, take care.
I appreciate it. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon, and I'll stay connected.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this episode of Starlight Express Alumni Podcast. Next week, I will get together with another alumni. Be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe right here on the website at starlightexpress.club. We are definitely on the iTunes and Stitcher, and we're looking to get on the other platforms, so make sure you check there, subscribe there, and stay connected. If you are Starlight alumni, please be sure to reach out to me if you would like to be on the podcast. Would love to hear your stories and share your story with the Starlight Express fans and other alumni. Look forward to sharing with you next week. Everyone, have a great day.